following is a presentation of Zagnif Productions, LLC.
Are you listening? Damn. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Hey gang, how's everybody doing? How are you doing? How are you doing? And how are you doing? It is time yet and again. Did you miss us? We weren't here last week. Just too many things going on. I'm late back getting in town from Tennessee. Then just things just didn't work out for us to have a show last week, but we are back. That was not the sound effect I was looking for, but I will work with it. We're back with another edition of This Week in UGA Football. I am Mr. Fingers, coming to you live from the 405 where the wind comes whipping down the plain Zagnif Central. And that fella over there, I don't forgot where the hell I am. And that fella over there, he is the brother from another, the sexy mother Hubbard, the ace of base in the place in your face. I have recently been placed in charge of garbage. Do you have any that requires disposal? Colin P. from the DMV. What's up with you, man?
Oh, man, I'm good. Yeah, I had a bit of a busy weekend. Had to be, man. And we were, messing around, watching some football. We had some good games this weekend. He changed the channel on me a couple of times, man, sent me to the basement. I was like, he said, Daddy, you watching football again? Can you go down to the basement? I said, yes, son, I'll go downstairs. You can watch Scooby-Doo 2 for the 15th time.
Wait a minute. You got kicked off the couch watching football in your own house, bro?
Oh, yeah, that's a normal occurrence, man. Normal occurrence.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. We got more than one TV. You know what I'm saying? Back in the day, we only had one TV.
Hey, look,
right? Now you got TV in every room, and
Hey, look, your boy to turn 13. He think he grown now.
Oh, he's been thinking he's grown. He's tested water several times.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Wait till that facial hair start coming in. You won't be telling
Yeah.
You'll be telling nothing. Look, the facial hair come in and his voice drop half an octave. He walk in there one day and be like, Daddy, where you hid the Cocoa Puffs? I know you got them around here somewhere. Don't play with me.
Where'd you have my cereal from?
on my soul. If you don't get my Cocoa Puffs, it's gonna be some problems in here. It's gonna be consequences and repercussions. like Eddie Murphy in life. It's gonna be consequences and repercussions up in here.
He's like, you go eat your cornbread. Hey. Yeah, no, he's my cereal, man. He already he's my what is it called? Honey, I can't remember what kind of cereal he eat no more. Anyway, he's my cereal. He don't eat that childish stuff, that Frosted Flakes and that kind of stuff. He's daddy's cereal.
Oh, dad.
Oh, dad. Yes, sir. Anyway, my friend, that was me. What's going on with you? What'd you up to this week? I know you were busy.
Oh man, dude, I went out of town to go see my deuce last weekend because she had back surgery, so that's why I was late getting back in on Monday. Mom's doing fine. She's up and moving around. She just texted me earlier, told me she was praying for me, so she's doing fine. She's back to her normal self. Then it was just a crazy busy week, and then it was our 12th wedding anniversary.
Oh yeah,
on Saturday.
Yeah.
It was the 12th wedding anniversary on Saturday. And you know, we did absolutely nothing. We ordered some food and had it delivered, sat on the couch and watched football all day. That's all we did.
There you go.
And don't get it twisted. We like going out to our favorite place for our anniversary, but we opted out this go round. We just opted to stay at home and just chill. And it's not cheap. The place we like to go is not cheap. For our anniversary. It's one of them places where you go in there and you just feel your wallet. Did my wallet get lighter? Like just pulling up in the parking lot. You be feeling your pocket like, is it still there? That kind of thing. So but yeah, that's it. That's all we did this weekend. And then Sunday we watched football. Bruh.
Yeah. Yep. I know what you. I know where you're going.
You know I'm gonna talk about it tomorrow. I do an NFL show tomorrow night. I'm gonna be on that show, but I'm gonna say it here tonight. How in the hell? Never mind. I'm not even going to. Just Falcons. Falcons are gonna Falcon, but this is not a Falcon show, so we just gonna keep that moving.
Well, I mean, we did. We won last week, right? We won that. Well, not this past one, but the one before. We won that one, didn't we? I think we won that weekend. And yeah, we were due for another one. We're good for one in a row. That's what we are. We're good for a run in a row. That's our. Yeah, that's what we're looking at to win.
Oh yeah, so that means next week, whoever we play, y'all better look out.
That's
We
right.
coming. Like Deion said, we coming.
Right. We are coming. Absolutely. That Louis might be empty, but we coming.
But Lord have mercy, got me stuttering. Heineke is actually he's doing not a half bad job. No. And that's where we're gonna leave that because we're gonna get too far into it. So let's go ahead and get into the show. We want to talk about what happened this weekend. Y'all know we like to talk Dawgs football, but we're gonna talk a little bit about what went on around the SEC. You guys, if you were watching, we're gonna save that one for last. So just a few games here. Ole Miss, I have no idea. Google just updated itself. Ole Miss struggled a little bit with Texas A&M, a very subpar Texas A&M, managed to pull one out with a 38-35 win in Oxford. In Oxford. They managed to pull one out. So Lane Kiffin lives to fight another day. Tennessee beat up on UConn. Yawn. With that should have happened. They beat them 59-3. We'll see them in 2 weeks in Neyland Stadium. South Carolina struggled with Jacksonville State. South Carolina was struggling with Jacksonville State. At one point, I looked up, it was tied at 14 in the second quarter. They eventually do, I won't say pull away, but they do at least win by 2 scores, 38-28. South Carolina notches their third victory. Actually, Spencer Rattler threw for almost 400 yards.
Yeah.
So not looking too terribly bad. I mean, well, like I said, we've been saying it all season. Spencer Rattler has definitely earned his stripes this season. Auburn and Vanderbilt didn't win exactly like I expected. Auburn went down to Tennessee and beat it. I won't say they beat them senseless, but they 31-15. The score speaks for itself. Kentucky, Mississippi State continues to flail. Kentucky beats Mississippi State 24-3. Leary throws for 156 yards and 2 touchdowns. Looks otherwise unimpressive in a 3-score win over Mississippi State. So they handled business. They did what they were supposed to do. Both teams. No, I'm sorry. Kentucky is 6-3. I started saying both teams under 500. I don't want to misspeak on that. I definitely want to give them the credit where the credit is due. And then, sometimes interesting things happen. Sometimes you go and you get a job and you think you're doing big things and you think you're doing big things and you get a couple of promotions and people start patting you on the back and telling you what a good job you're doing. And then all of a sudden a hard dose of reality smacks you in the face. Of course, we know how things went last weekend with Georgia and Florida. And Florida was handed another dose of cold, hard reality, losing to Arkansas in overtime. 5-win Florida loses to, at that point, 2-win Arkansas, 39-36 in overtime.
And that was in Gainesville too, so that was tough.
Yeah, that game was in Gainesville. You're absolutely right. Actually, just off the box scores, Arkansas came out, scored 2 touchdowns in a minute and a half.
Wow. Is that on
turnover?
The
the first one was they marched right down the field. They scored. I'm sorry, not a minute and a half. They marched right down the field. They scored on the first drive. And then there was a fumble returned for a touchdown. So just like that, boom, boom, 14 points, they were up. Now, Florida did manage to even things up. They went in at a half, tied at 17. I'll tell you something. KJ Jefferson is a scrapper. He said, look, I'm gonna get this one today. He said, we've been having a rough season, but I'm gonna get this one today. And Arkansas managed to pull it out, man. So what do you, I mean, in Florida, what are your thoughts, man?
I don't know. I mean, like it just I was surprised with this one. I mean, especially in Gainesville. I mean, KJ Jefferson, like you just said, I think he's. I mean, if you look at it, Arkansas's got nothing to lose, right? I mean, they're 3-6, right? I mean, after. So I mean, and KJ, yeah, he bested Mertz with not 200. No, he didn't. He had 255 yards. Sorry, but Mertz had 282 yards. But I mean, over 250 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick. It looked like Raheem Sanders. He balled out. He had he didn't ball out 100 yards. It didn't look like. I mean, Florida. I mean, it looked like they were running all over them. It looked like Arkansas just was running all over Florida, And I mean, it did surprise me that they actually lost. That Florida lost. But I mean, I guess that's kind of where you go when you have nothing to. I'm not saying
nothing to lose, right?
Nothing to lose, right? I mean, there's nothing.
Right. They got absolutely nothing to lose. They're not going to a bowl game this season. They're not going to be in the playoff. They got nothing to play. They have to play, of course, but they have nothing to lose by going out and going all the way to the wall.
Kind of lifts the pressure off of it because I mean, really, there's no pressure. I mean, there shouldn't be anyway. But
this
game, win ball games.
Yeah, this game right here was the nail in the coffin. I think Florida I honestly think Florida looked past Arkansas because Arkansas was a 2-loss team at that point. I think they were thinking we're at home, we're going to take care of business, we'll secure our bowl bid, and then we'll cruise. What happens. But now they got a tough road to hoe because guess who's on the schedule next week? The Tigers of LSU. And then guess who they play next week? The Tigers of Missouri. And then guess who they play the week after that to close the season out? The Seminoles, the undefeated Seminoles. So they're facing 2-loss Missouri, 2-loss LSU.
They could have a losing season, bro. I mean, like they're 5-4 now.
3-loss LSU. I'm sorry, but LSU has 2 conference losses. Yeah, I mean, they literally could have a losing season from this point going forward. Came out of the gate smoking, and now we went from 5-3 to 5-4, and they could legitimately wind up being 5-7 by the end of the season.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't pin this at all. I mean, I really didn't think they would lose against Arkansas. I mean, I was like I said, I mentioned I didn't think they were going to lose against us. I mean, sorry, we weren't going to lose against them, but I don't know. What do you think? It might have been a little bit of hangover, like a little bit of I mean, we kind of.
No, I'm going to
think they look past them.
I'm going to stay with what I said. I think they looked past Arkansas. They legitimately just said, we're going to beat these guys. There's no way we lose to these guys. We're playing at home. It's homecoming. We're wearing our pretty black jerseys and black uniforms for the homecoming game and for the returning alum. And they wound up handing one over to Arkansas.
Yeah.
I mean, who does? Well, I won't ask who does that because there's a few teams that do that. But they legitimately, just a couple of weeks ago, we were saying Sun Belt Billy might be off the hot seat.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, does it put him back on it? I mean, if he loses this year, I mean, who knows what's going to happen? I mean,
I don't think. I'm going to say this.
They won't get rid of him, I would think.
If they fire him, I won't be surprised. But he's only in his 2nd year of his deal.
They'll evidently. I mean, they'll probably have to pay him if they do. They probably have.
But Florida has a history of pulling the trigger pretty quick when they want to get rid of you.
Oh, that's true.
So, but again, if they fire a coach after 2 years, I think they give him a 3rd year, see how things go. But he's going to be on a really, really short leash.
Yeah,
like they'll probably let him unless if he manages to mediocre his way through the season and at least get him to a bowl game or maybe 7 wins next season.
Yeah.
They'll give him one more year. They'll give him another short leash year. But if the wheels fall off early, they'll pull the trigger. But if everything goes sideways next season, like say they get to week 6 and they're like 1-5, see you later. Bye-bye. He's gone.
Yeah.
And it's a shame because he seems like a decent dude. And he was a good coach, prior to coming to Florida. It might just be the curse of coaching at Florida.
Well, I mean, they've been on it. I mean, we've been there. I mean, it's just they got a long way to go. It seems like because I mean they've after Urban Meyer left, I mean, I think it was a sign of times when, like Tebow left and Urban said, all right, there ain't nothing left here. For me, I'm out. And then they ain't never been able to recover, no matter who was coaching there.
That could be
So,
entirely true. That could be entirely true. But, I mean, Georgia went through the same hangover. Vince retired, and then we had some really lean years. I mean, it was really lean for, gosh, when the Dooley retired in 88, I think was his last season. It was pretty lean for about 8 years. When did Coach Rick come in? 96.
Yeah, somewhere around there. So he was after Donna, right? Did he come in after Jim Donna? Yeah. Well, it was golf, then Ray Golf, then Don, and then Rick, right? I think that's right.
I believe so. There might have been a third one in there somewhere. I believe there were 3 coaches between Coach Dooley and Coach Rick, but memories a little hazy. Then 1988 was 35 years. My high school graduation was 35 and a half years ago. So Anyway, so then the game of the evening, of course, this one was a shootout, and honestly, Alabama and LSU was one of the best games you could have watched. They literally were going toe to toe to toe, and I'm going to walk back anything that I said that may or may not have been negative about Jalen Milroe.
Yeah,
Jalen Milroe balled out.
The boy was running. He was
Jaden Daniels balled out. Both quarterbacks balled out. And to be completely honest, I'm going to say this: Jaden Daniels doesn't get hurt, we're looking at a game that's down to like the last play.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, all right, since you brought that up, like, when do you think that was a clean hit? Do you think that was just, mass and mass? I mean, do you think that was? I don't know.
I didn't get it. You know what? I did. That's the. I must have gotten up and walked away or something because I didn't see it. All I know is I left the room and came back and he was on the bench.
Yeah, I know. It was face to face, and the guy. I don't think he landed on it, but rolled off of it. It wasn't like he just kind of, the linebacker or whatever didn't. But he was face to face, and it looked like it hurt. But I'm not even certain. I mean, I don't know. They called it unsportsmanlike, or they didn't call targeting, so they didn't kick the guy out. So I mean, it was a personal foul. But anyway, he came back in. Daniels came back in, like maybe a play or two late. But
yeah, he did. Well, here's a question for you: as an LSU fan, you're an LSU fan. You watched the quarterback get hobbled last year.
Yeah.
Okay. He's not fragile. He's a tough kid, but you keep projectiling, running yourself around like a free roaming projectile the entire game. You're bound to take a hit that's going to be the one.
Oh yeah.
So last year he gets hurt, and this year he takes a dinger on the chin. If you're an LSU fan, does that concern you about him being? I mean, look at some of the quarterbacks that are running quarterbacks that are in the league this year. What's his nuts?
Jackson.
What's his nuts? The young man that showed up in our camp and then decided to transfer up north to go to some school and now plays in Chicago is hurt. Kyler Murray is still recuperating.
Yeah.
The quarterback in Cleveland, I just don't like saying his name on the show, but the quarterback of the Browns, he's got mysterious ailments. Every now and again, Lamar Jackson will have to sit because he took a stinger or two. Like, did you get nervous when you see, as a fan of that team, do you get nervous when you see him out there just freestyling?
I mean, but that's like, it's unfortunate, but if you don't have the protection, I mean, like, at some point you would think that the offensive coordinator would be like, hey man, you need to kind of slowly roll a little bit, quit taking off. But I mean, if you can't, I mean, then you're getting chased and you're running for your life pretty virtually every down. I mean, what else can you do, really? I mean, yeah, absolutely. To your point, I'd be scared. So, but I mean, there was a meme or something. Somebody had taken a picture of, remember Jordan Davis picked him up, right?
I saw it. Yeah.
And then it's like respect or whatever, respectful team or whatever. Talking about Georgia, and then seeing Daniels on the ground with Alabama, and they disrespectful or whatever. So we were getting props on
honestly,
on Davis picking him up instead of slamming him. He could have easily slung him down, but he didn't. But I mean, That's neither here nor there.
Yeah, but then that would have been unsportsmanlike, and the game was
Sure.
already out of
Sure.
sorts at that point. But still, there
Yeah.
was no need to add insult to injury. But just to give you an idea how much these two balled out, they both ran for the exact same total yards, for 219, 219. I'm sorry, passed for the same amount of yards. They both passed for 219 yards, so they both accounted for 438 yards in the air. Then Jaden Daniels ran for 163, Jalen Milroe for 155. That is 300, excuse me, 328. No, I'm sorry, 318 yards in the air. So 318, 518, 528, 537, 547, 747, 753 yards of total offense. Just those two alone with arms and feet.
Yep.
And a combined total 6 touchdowns.
Yeah.
That is insane.
Here's another stat for you to blow your mind. No LSU fumbles and no Alabama fumbles.
Impressive indeed. And then Jaden had the interception.
Yeah.
They did eventually pull him for Nussmeier. But yeah, you know what? That kid's got heart. I think maybe he was just playing scared. I mean, that's some big shoes. He's got some big shoes to fill. Think about who all he came behind.
Oh yeah, of course.
Before him was Bryce. Before Bryce was Mac. Yeah, before Bryce was Mac. Before Mac was Jalen. Before Jalen was who was the quarterback before Jalen Hurts?
Well, McCarron was it?
Tagovailoa.
Oh, Tagovailoa. But Hurts was before Tagovailoa, wasn't it? Or vice versa?
Oh, you know what? You're right. It was Hurts and then Tagovailoa.
Yeah.
And then Hurts transferred to Oklahoma. But you got some studs. You follow them behind a line of studs, and look at what Mac's not doing so great, but and Bryce is it, and poor Bryce is in Carolina. So, but you got some guys that were studs at Alabama. He's stepping into some big shoes, and it wasn't like he came with a lot of hype.
Right.
So he has some big shoes to fill. But
now it's progressed, man. It looks like he's playing a lot better than like before the season started.
9 weeks into the season, that kid is looking like real deal Holyfield. Now, he didn't do a lot with his arm. He didn't throw a single touchdown. And then Jaden really only threw one. Jaden threw two with an interception. So, yeah, you just, I think but he's got a cannon. Like, go routes for days. Could you imagine if he had Julio Jones, like young Julio Jones with that cannon?
Yeah, no doubt.
It'd have been a wrap. And John Mechie and all of those guys that were just all of those freaking cheaters that were just running up and down the field. Anyway, game of the evening definitely goes to Tigers and the LSU Tigers and Alabama's Crimson Tide. Alabama moves to 8-1 with no conference losses. The Tigers pretty much need a small miracle in order for them to return in the SEC West. So basically, next week's game, I believe it is. Who are they playing next week? No, Alabama already holds a tiebreaker with. There's nobody to challenge them on that end. Alabama basically has wrapped up the West, unless they drop another couple of conference games, because they've got on deck. They've got Kentucky, Chattanooga, and Auburn. So right now, Ole Miss hoping for a little help from Kentucky or Auburn. Although it doesn't look like they're going to get any, but stranger things have happened, because I definitely didn't expect Florida to lose to Arkansas. But here we are. So, having said all of that, those of you just tuning in, thank you so much for joining this week in UGA football. Mr. Fingers here, Kyler P from the DMV over there. We're going to take a very short break, and then we'll be right back. So, don't you go anywhere.
white screen.
And we are back. Yay! Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. And those of you that are hanging with us, those of you just joining us, appreciate you joining us for this week in UGA football. Mr. Fingers right here. Colin P from the DMV right over there. And we appreciate each and every one of you for joining us. Speaking of the station break that you just saw, brought to you courtesy of Sagnif Apparel. Sagnif Apparel is a very sweet and sleek line of sports of apparel of all sorts. I dropped the hat there. You see that signature? It's gorgeous. It's all embroidered right here on this hat. We've given away 2 of these already. We kind of putting a hold on any more giveaways right now. I've got the 2 that came in. So Chloe and John, you will get your hats here in just a little bit. As soon as I package them up, put a little something in them for you and send them your way. But we will be doing another giveaway for Georgia Tech for sure. We make the conference championships. We'll do another one for that. And if we make any games beyond that, we'll do a giveaway. So that'll be Georgia Tech, conference championship, CFP, national championship. So you'll have 4 more chances this season to win a hat. We've already had 2 winners, and we're going to give away a few more. Now, how you win those, I'll explain it, and then we're going to move on to our next topic. We will post a pick'em on our Facebook page and our Facebook group this week in the SEC. And all you have to do is go down there and give me a score prediction closest to the score wins. As a matter of fact, I think we had one running this week. I got to go check it. So I got to go check it. I believe we had one up for either this week or last week. I'm not sure. So I got to go check. So make that 3. There's another winner, and I will let them know who they are as soon as this show is over. Colin, please help me remember that because I'm bad with.
Bro, it's let it blind, leave me blind. I tell you, I'm finding things out that, it's not the old cliche walking in the kitchen or walking into a room and forget what you're looking for. I mean,
it's gotten worse than that. It's standing up out of the chair and forgetting why you stood up.
Exactly.
Like where the hell was I going? I'm not that bad. But I'm pretty bad. So
yeah.
Anyway, there was some other notable games we wanted to talk about outside of the SEC. We'll get to our game in just a second. So let's see what we got going on here. USC pretty much, if they thought they were going to backdoor their way in, they pretty much shot themselves in the foot there. They were beaten 42-52 at home by Washington, who is a potential CFP team. Definitely all alone by themselves in the Pac-12. It was pretty much tit for tat until the determining factor was the fourth quarter when Washington just shut USC down. I mean, literally the difference in score was 10 points, and Washington had 10 points in the fourth, and USC did not. They were going basically touchdown for touchdown. USC now with their third loss, their second conference loss, they're going to need a lot of help to get into even the conference championships, let alone consider 2 losses. Definitely not making the CFP. Too many teams ahead of them at this point. Ohio State struggled with Rutgers a little bit, went into the half, losing 9-7. Finally turned on the afterburners in the second half, scored 28 points to shut down Rutgers 35-16. Michigan did what they had to do against Purdue. That was pretty much a foregone conclusion. Florida State had a little bit of a struggle bus first half with Pitt. They went into the half with Pitt. No, Pitt was only trailing by 3 points. So, I mean, I'm just saying, you consider yourself one of the premier teams in the league, and Kate is in the knock on Michigan. I'm not Michigan. Yeah. Did I say Michigan? I definitely said Michigan. I said Michigan. Wait a minute. Florida State. I'm so sorry. Yeah, see, exactly. Bruh, it's getting bad.
Yeah. I mean, that's going back to like what you just said, like all the top 4 or 5 teams or whatever, then they're picking on Georgia about being the struggle wins and this kind of stuff and starting off slow. I mean,
everybody's doing it this season.
Everybody does it, it's no big deal.
But I mean, there's only one thought that you can have when you look up and you see a score of 10-7 in a football game at halftime.
Goodness gracious. Why ain't tell me it was a softball game today?
yeah.
So,
Yeah.
shouts out to our guy Jermaine Funny Main Johnson.
Goodness great.
I'm sorry, I've been using that clip for 2 weeks and it never ceases to be funny. Florida
Yeah.
State winds up coming back and scoring 14 unanswered points in the second half to put Pitt away 24-7. Wait a minute, one more time for the good of the people. Hold on. What did you have to say about the first half? That funny man.
Goodness gracious. Why you ain't tell me it was a softball game today?
Oh man, you know what it is? It's the Alabama twang that gets me with it. That's what it is.
Goodness gracious. Dude, I heard, oh my God. I heard goodness gracious the other day, and I haven't heard that in a while. It's just the goodness gracious. I mean,
yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, that's our boy though. I love him. He's a Bama fan, but I love him. If you get a chance,
He
check him
tells
out.
the truth though. That's
Main Funny Main Johnson. He does. He tells the truth. He's on Facebook. I believe he's also on YouTube, and he is absolutely hilarious. Listen here. I'm gonna give you a list here of the best day after college football commentaries. I need you to take a list, okay? I didn't bother putting up a graphic for it because this just came to me, okay?
Yeah.
Jermaine Funny Main Johnson, Alabama fan. Scooter Magruder, Florida fan. SEC Shorts, and Matt Mitchell.
Yep. Gotta have some Matt Mitchell.
Those four. Absolutely hilarious.
Gotta watch the one for this weekend. I don't know if you've seen it.
I haven't seen any of them yet. I love Matt Mitchell because Matt Mitchell he picks on all of the teams. It's hilarious.
That's the best. And he does a very good job of doing it too.
Oh, he's absolutely hilarious. So moving on here. California and Oregon, or why did I just use the whole government name? You know everybody calls them Cal. Oregon handles business at home against Cal, puts them away 63-19. Things are definitely shaping up for a huge rematch between Oregon and Washington. And I think this time Oregon is coming with all the pepper. So, Michael Penix, hey, bro. Hey, Bo Nix is not happy feet anymore. That kid said he coming for you.
There's Heisman talking that, bro, right now. There's Heisman talking Bo Nix right now. So,
yeah, the Heisman talk for both of them right now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like Bo Nix, I mean, it's a wonder. I mean, like it makes a difference when you he left Auburn to go to Oregon. But I mean, I was going to say, how about Oregon? I mean, like since Lanning has taken over, they lost. They only lost one game, and so Lanning seems to have righted the ship, and they coming for.
Well, he had a rough start last year, though. Remember, we opened the season with them last year.
Yeah, well, that was his first year, so I mean, he's definitely done better than took him 1 year to kind of get everything straightened out. I think he's doing a whale of a job this year, though.
Yeah, 100%. Like that's a coach that left here that we can be very proud of. We still claim Dan Lanning.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So let's see what else do we got here. Oh my goodness! And then of course I can't not talk about the one that happened here. I mean, it was all everybody talked about. Is all they've been talking about on the radio all day. And I'm here for every little bit of it. OU faces OSU. The bulk of the people that I know here are OU fans. There are a goodly amount of OSU fans here, but the Sooner fans heavily outweigh Cowboy fans around here. At least the people that I know in the social groups and the work groups that I hang around, the bulk of the fans are definitely OU fans. How fitting that not only, you know what I'm saying? This is bragging rights. This is bragging rights for a very long time. You understand what I'm saying? This is now OU has their own version of what they used to hit us with the 1980. OU has their own version of this now. For those of you that are lost, up until 2021, it had been 40. It had been 40 plus. It had been since the 1980 season, where University of Georgia had won a national championship. And anytime you got into any kind of discussion, whether it was in person or online, with anybody about college football, and the other person started losing the argument, 1980 was like the draw four card. Bow. 1980 was like the big joker in a game of spades. Bow. Just shut you right on up and run you off the table. This is now the draw four card this is now OSU's draw four card.
Mhm.
Yes, I did not know that series was so lopsided, bro. Did you look up? You ever take a second to look up and see how the record was?
No, I didn't. I
Like
didn't see that.
a lot of rivalries, if you look them up, they tend to be fairly balanced. Like it'll tip this way for 4 or 5 years, and it'll tip the other way for 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
OU has, when I tell you OU has dominated that series, I believe it was like 90 some odd wins to, I don't believe OSU had even won 15 games out of that series in the
Wow.
100 some years that have been playing. But this is fitting because until there is a next one, if they ever get together and play again, doesn't matter what OU says, or you could go win a national championship next year, or
Yeah.
you can win a Big 12 championship the year after that and say, ha, Big Brother still owns you. And we say, yep, and we whooped your backside and sent you packing to the SEC.
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't even think about that. That's right. Yeah.
And not only that,
that's a
go
lot
ahead.
of talk too, because I mean, if they get whooped by the Cowboys, I mean, like they're going to the SEC. So I mean, if they can get whooped by them, what's going to happen? And you know what's funny is I actually saw. I don't know. If this is not true at all. I mean,
hold on. Let me jump in for a second before you go. I'm gonna let you get back to it. All fairness, OSU has been a very good team this year. They may actually return back to the Big 12 championship this year.
Yep.
They run the table. They got a good shot at getting back into the conference championship. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, no, it was. I can't remember where I saw the commentator. It might have been somewhere on like a reel or a Facebook or something, or maybe YouTube. It might have been on like SEC. But somebody made the comment that Oklahoma is the new Vanderbilt. So that's a pretty harsh comparison.
Wait a minute.
When they get to the SEC, they're going to be the new Vanderbilt.
Sir, I'm gonna need you to have a seat. Hold on. Wait, did you say what?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not making it up.
No, I don't think so.
I'm not making it up. But
I don't think so. I mean, listen,
I
understand.
kind of
But here's the thing. Vanderbilt had the potential. Granted, you gotta, next man up, you gotta play. You still gotta play the games. But Vanderbilt, before they had a couple of key injuries, had the potential to be a bowl contender this year. So that could work towards a compliment. And the OU is still built, they're still building. So I think for Venables to come in and take the program over and do what he did this year versus last year, and then with all the hullabaloo with Lincoln Riley leaving the program and Alex Grinch and all of that good stuff, put a pin in that name right there. We'll get back to that in a second. I think they did.
I think it had Mike Wright had not left. I mean, I think they might have done some really good things this year. That's just my opinion. But I mean, I'm sure he had his reasons for leaving. But it'd have been interesting to see how he stayed.
Yeah, 100%. And then on top of that, not only did OU lose the final bedlam, not only did USC lose yesterday to Washington, ding dong, the Grinch is dead. Alex Grinch fired as the defensive coordinator at USC.
Yeah.
USC fans probably happy about that, but USC fans don't know half the heartache that OU fans had watching their team every year give up a last second touchdown or something like that to take. I mean, like a couple of years ago in the Big 12 championship against Baylor, they could not stop. Not Baylor. Was it Baylor? Or was it OSU? No, Baylor. I think it was Baylor. They couldn't stop them. Yeah, and then that was a game. That was a game where Lincoln Riley left and didn't talk to the press. And then the next thing you know, come Monday, he was the coach. He was the coach at USC. Yep. So USC looking for a new defensive coordinator. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, just jokingly, I said, well, why do they need a defensive coordinator? Because I mean, Lincoln Riley never had a defense. I mean, they never focused too much on defense. Always offense. And but I know they came together. But that's got to be a tough situation to have to fire your boy.
Yeah, because that was his homeboy, and he stood behind him.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's one of my points. Is just like, I mean, there's nothing really you can say about it. I'm sure he got good payment on the way out. I'm sure he got some severance on the way out the door. But at the same point, it's got to be a tough conversation when you have to fire your boy. But I mean, at the same point, I mean, there's never been what do you think? Where are they going to go to get a new defensive coordinator? I mean, like, where would they go shopping to get one?
Dude, I have no idea. I really don't, because I'm not really up on a whole lot of DCs around college football right now. I
Yeah.
mean,
Well,
you got a
I mean,
lot of a lot of the guys that were defensive minded coaches already have gigs. Like if Dan Lanning were still floating around in Athens, they might be sniffing around behind him for sure.
yeah.
Because Lanning was a hell of a defensive coordinator.
Oh,
I wish him well, but I hated to see him go.
We were
defense.
spoiled, man. We had Lanning as offense, and then we had Monken as our defense coordinator. Man,
You got that backwards. If Monken was the offense and Lanning was the defense.
Sorry.
But still, we were spoiled for sure. So,
Yeah.
Best wishes to Alex Grinch. Happy trails to you.
Yeah.
So, anyway, we're going to get on this thing here, man. We've been on this for a minute. We have not even talked about our game. The fact that we managed to pull out a 30-21 win over Missouri, who came in really hot. And to be completely honest, even though we won the game, Mizzou balled out. Brady Cook ran up and down the field at will.
Yeah.
Brady Cook ran up and down the field at will. And then
Schrader, man.
And then he started handing the ball to some guy named Schrader who ran for 100. I don't think there's been a single back that has run for 100 yards against Georgia in a God knows long time. First time in a long time.
It's been a while, but man, I swear I do like to watch him run because I mean when he gets that ball, he hits the hole quick and he's gone. I mean, like he is quick.
He's like a bowling ball. He literally is. He's a bruiser too. He's fast, but he's also a bruiser.
Yeah, anything in his way. I mean, that goes on another thing is just we need to tighten up that defensive line because we were not necessarily leaving holes that a truck could drive through, but I mean they were getting through that line pretty at will. I mean we weren't stopping much, in my opinion. But and they were running up the middle too. So we've got to tighten
they do, especially up the gut. All they had to do. And here was the formula. 3-step drop, let the defense fall back straight up the gut. And that was Brady Cook. And then when he got tired, he stepped back and let Schrader do it. Cook only really ran for 39 yards, but he still sliced us up for 212 in the air. He did throw a couple of interceptions, and man, let me tell you, your boy Nazir, what did you think when you first saw that happen? What was your reaction?
Who's that? What are you talking about?
When Nazir Stackhouse got that interception in the fourth quarter.
No, yeah, I loved it. I loved every minute of it. I saw it. And I was like, and he was just like, he wasn't. And the funny thing was, they showed the replay of that, and it looked like he was surprised, but then he had all eyes on that football. He had it. It wasn't getting away from him. He took.
Well, he kind of couldn't help it. He threw it right to him. It hit him right in the chest.
I mean, it hit him right in the belly button. I mean, it was just kind of one of them. You're right though, but that was awesome. I mean, like we were speaking off camera, and that was kind of what I felt like the game was had. We won that game after, but like I told you, I wish he would have scored, man. I wish that would have been so awesome. That was his first ever interception. So it wasn't awesome if he would have scored, man.
And I know he had that goal line in his sights. Every defensive lineman's dream. Every offensive lineman's dream. I was running alongside the TV like, come on, run, young man, run.
Did you see the picture with him and the gold pads on? It looked like he was wearing like little league pads.
Right. That's a big boy.
That's a big youngin'. That was a big.
That's a big boy. And then he said, "What was that? You remember the quote better than I do? What they asked him what he was."
So once you get all that meat, it's hard to stop when they get all that meat moving one way or something of that.
You got all that meat in front of you. So.
Yeah, something like that. Man, that was awesome. That was awesome. But then the interception at the I guess the end of the game. I don't know who had that. Was it Bullard? No, it wasn't Bullard. It was somebody else. Or was it Bullard? Who had the interception at the end of the game?
It was Bullard.
Was it Bullard?
Bullard got the last one to shut it down.
Yeah, okay, there you go. Yeah, all right.
Mekhi Muse had a couple of decent kick returns to give us some decent start. It just is it me or I think we still have some work to be done.
Oh, of course, yeah, I do too. And
because
go ahead.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Carson Beck, Carson was decent, but he didn't stand out. You know what I mean? He threw for a couple 100 yards, 254 ish, and he averaged just under 8 per attempt. But only 2 touchdowns.
Mm-hmm.
We only had the 1 rushing touchdown. It's just, it's like I'm thinking in terms of I'm looking into the future. I'm not overlooking anybody. I'm just thinking, okay, we went out, and then we get in the conference championships, and we managed to win that one too, right?
Yeah.
Now we're in the CFP. Now you're talking potentially facing either the winner of Ohio State, Michigan, which is pretty much what we figured it was going to be. The winner of Ohio State, Michigan, or Florida State maybe, because Florida State's more than likely going to clean the ACC out.
Yeah.
And then coming out of the Pac-12, you're either going to have to face Washington or an Oregon. And that doesn't even let's see, that was it. We got the ACC, the Big 12. Yeah. You're going to wind up having to face one of those teams. And are we going to be able to play and hang with those teams playing like we've been playing? I am glad that we continue to be undefeated. I am glad for the streak. I'm glad for the 2 national championships. I'm glad for the run.
Yeah.
Like, we handle things with Ole Miss next week and handle Tennessee the following week. The East is wrapped up. I just, I just feel like there's something more in there. And it's like we've only really seen it against Kentucky and Florida.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, they beat up on those couple teams in the beginning of the season, but
yeah, I mean, I can agree with what you're saying, but I think there was something that was said that there's probably been said on several networks that I've seen and what I've read is like we haven't seen the full potential of the Georgia Bulldogs yet. So, I mean, we've seen flashes here and there, whatever, but I mean, it's still I don't know if we're going to see it, but I would hope once it gets down to the wire, we'll see the full potential. But I mean, it just seems like we're, in my opinion, what I see is basically just. I mean, resiliency is great, right? I mean, it's great to see and watch the guys, the resiliency and that kind of stuff come back, and play, hard. I'm not saying anything about that. Just that we're not used to we're in the past couple of years. See if I can spit this out. But I'm saying like after the past couple of years, we were not necessarily just destroying people, but the game was pretty much over. Like I mean, you knew once the guys stepped on the field, it was pretty much over. I mean, they didn't score on us, right? So I mean, this year they're scoring and more than one game, like Florida and Missouri, they scored first. You know what I mean? They scored touchdowns right on the field, and we're not used to that. I mean, like, and it seems like even Kirby said that after they get that first touchdown, it seems like it calms them down, and then they start coming, start playing. But we can't. To your point, we can't rely on that because we play like Alabama or Florida State or even a Michigan. For that matter, if we let them get ahead too much, there ain't no way we're gonna catch them. So, especially with the defense, if the defense doesn't
right, especially looking forward to the SEC championship, assuming for the sake of this discussion right here on this Monday night, right now, that we progress beyond Ole Miss on Saturday, Tennessee the week after, Georgia Tech the week after that, and go into the SEC championship. Jalen Milroe is a beast with his feet.
Yeah.
And he's got a cannon. Now, I don't expect the secondary to get burned too much on the go routes.
Yeah.
But that 3-step drop, and Nick Saban is no slouch. He's watching.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Or even if he's not watching, Miss Terry's watching and taking notes.
Yeah. Oh, she's got a truckload of bean pies too.
Yeah.
Whatever. But
the bean pies. What do you?
Sorry, my bad. I
wanted to be. Wait a minute. Hold on. Is he now the honorable Nicholas X? Is that what it is? Did you just make a Nick Saban a member of the Nation of Islam?
Shava. I want to be pie. I mean, that's in the head. I'm sorry.
Oatmeal cream pie, my guy.
Oatmeal cream pie. I don't like those. I put my bean pie in there. I don't like those.
Oh man, could you see that? Could you
see
that?
That's what we were talking about. Look at here.
The commercials would be different. Brother Prime Time. I do not come to be argumentative with you, but Aflac is definitely the way to go. Something like I can't even do it. I cannot even do it. I cannot
See,
even do
that's
it.
going back to the head, man. It's going back to the
Y'all
brain.
saw y'all saw it here live on Monday night, November the 6th, 2023. According to reports from one
Bean pie.
Colin P from the DMV, Nick Saban is now a member of the Nation of Islam, and Miss Terry has changed his snack,
The
his
bean-
post-game snack from oatmeal cream pies to bean pies.
Oh my! I was sliding. You saw I was sliding by that mess. See if you wouldn't catch that.
You tried to, oh, I caught it. I heard it. I was looking someplace
You
else.
caught
I
it,
said,
put a stamp
look, I
on
was looking over here and something, and I went, huh? What did he say?
it. Yeah, but anyway, but we've got to worry about what Bama do.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Because Bama do. I can't do
So bean pie. I want a bean pie, man. I gotta go find me some bean pie. I like bean pie.
Oh my
Bean pie
God!
works.
Seriously.
And well, another thing here. After you compose yourself, the Bama does what Bama do. Bean pies do what a bean pie does.
Stop while you ahead, bro. Stop while you ahead.
Oh my God! Hey, stop while I'm ahead. All right, so wow, give you a breather. Let's look at the injuries. Look at the injuries we got here.
Okay, who we got?
So we had a Dumas Johnson. He's got a fractured forearm. So Kirby Smart said, when was it 6 was yesterday? I guess it was. He said that they're expecting to have him back as well as the other guys. Still not sure how long he's going to be with him. He's going to try some innovative ways to try to get back faster, but we're excited with the way other guys have played. McConkey back. He said Kirby said they've gotten a routine down with Ladd, and he thinks that they created a rhythm to avoid the issue with McConkey's back.
That boy did not play like his back was hurting at all. He had almost 100 yards. He almost had almost 100 yards receiving.
Looked like he had some Ozzy Hot from
Hey, what happened? What happened to your boy Cash Jones?
I don't know. We didn't see him at all, did we? I think he.
No, sir.
At all?
I didn't see him.
I didn't see him either. No rushing. I don't know. He better not be put. He better not put himself me before the mission and the team. I don't know what happened. Or maybe he's hurt. I don't see anything about that. Branson's hurt. Let's see who else we got here. Dan Jackson. She got a knee, dealing with a burst in his knee.
I got a knee too. I got two of them. What's wrong with his knees?
You need three of them, evidently. I don't know. Ingram, Hawk. No. So the rest of those guys have been out for a while. So I mean, the big update is Dumas Johnson. He's expected to be back, and Bowers. Let's see what we got. Bowers and Mims dress. You saw Mims dressed against Florida, but didn't play. What do we got here? Brock Bowers. He's been great. He's done everything we've asked. He ran on Friday. He's going to do everything he can to get back as fast as he can. So that was the update on Brock. So
Cash must be hurt or something. Well, let me see.
He's not on the injury report.
He's not on the injury report, but he has 0 stats against Florida and 0 stats last week. So I hope he's not on some kind of non-injury, do not play deal.
Oh man, I hope not either. That sucks, man. I want him to do some
yeah, when you guys get in trouble for something like that. Man. So next week, stop it. Don't you get me started. So next week, we face the Rebels of Ole Miss. Get your popcorn ready. They are coming to town, ladies and gentlemen. So what do you got for me as far as they are, you know what? They struggled a little bit last week. They managed to find a way to win every week, except for the game with Bama.
Yeah.
How do we contain these guys and win this game? How do we lock this one up?
I mean, I think that defense, man. That's the only thing that bothers me really is the defense. Our secondary is not. I mean, our secondary is doing okay. We could use them, a little bit No, take that back. Secondary doing pretty good in my opinion, but they just need to tighten up that defensive line. Because I mean, we can't afford them to be running all over us like they did with that Michigan.
Yeah. That front seven can be really good or really shaky.
Basically. Right, exactly. Just need to tighten that up because I mean, up the middle it seems like they did crash the middle or something because I mean it seems like most of the yards that Mizzou got was up the middle, and even Florida. Like you remember that one what was it? One of the first plays of the game. I mean, that was a hole you could drive a truck through, like literally, and then so we can't be doing too much of that. So we're picked by what 10.5 and. Let's see, 10.5, like a 58 over under, I guess is what it amounts to. 58.5 over under. I don't know. Now, we're in Georgia, so I'm not too worried about it. We just need to get out ahead in a hurry and stay there.
I agree. I agree with you. I do agree with you. I think the key to it starts with Jackson Dart. If Jackson Dart gets to going and he's able to pass effectively down the field, they don't have a whole heck of they don't have a monstrously scary rushing attack. They just don't. Quishon Judkins is still a decent running back. He's got 12 touchdowns. He's got 12 touchdowns, so he's no slouch. Yeah. And they got Jackson Dart. Jackson Dart has actually run for 7. But of course, being a quarterback, that's presumably inside the 10-yard line. A lot like Spencer, not Spencer, a lot like Stetson used to do. Stetson Bennett. I almost said Spencer Rattler. Caught myself on that one. It's 793 yards with 3 games left to go. That's no. I mean, he's no slouch, but like they're the backbone of their offense is not their rushing game. Yeah. So if the front 7 can figure out how to contain a running back that likes to run up the middle or around the corners, because that's what Auburn did was a lot of quarterback around around the right end, around the left end. I'm running free in the yard. Like a kid that got out of the house that you're trying to corral and bring in the house, and he's just running around the front yard. You can't catch me. If they can figure out a way to corral Judkins and make Jackson Dart throw, then they're playing to the strength of our defense. Yeah. If it turns out that if they come out, and Lane Kiffin's no slouch either, he was taking notes himself. But again, it wasn't like they ran away with this game against Texas A&M. So now that's not a knock on. Let me go back and say something. That's not really a knock on Texas A&M because Jimbo Fisher can recruit. It's just what he does with the players on the field. So. Right.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the receiver here. What is it, Harris? And got 38 receptions for 749 yards and 7 touchdowns. So, I mean, like I said, I don't think our secondary is that suspect, but I mean, they will need to tighten that up as well. Like if we tighten up the run defense, then I think the secondary will follow suit. Hopefully, we'll see. But we are between the hedges, so I mean, I think that does a lot.
Yeah, that plays to our advantage. Definitely playing at home. In front of almost 100,000 screaming fans, I think that would definitely get the job done.
There's a lot of people at that game, at the Mizzou game. 93,000, 94,000.
Yeah, I did not even realize that. I don't remember when did they up the capacity?
I think it's been not a long while, but I think it has been within the last 5 years. I think so.
Yeah, because I don't even think they were fitting 70K in there when I was in school there.
And then to take this into account, we're not even the biggest stadium. I think I'm trying to think of who is the biggest stadium.
I want to say it's either Bryant Denny or Jordan Hare, one of them two, or maybe Neyland. I think Neyland is it.
Neyland. I think it's Neyland actually. I think it is Neyland.
So yeah, that's what we got to do to those guys. That's what we got to do to those guys. That's what we got to do to those guys in order to win the game. So yeah, we got to beat those guys. Yeah, we got to beat those guys so we can beat the other guys with the mustard. So we can beat the other guys with the slide rules and the abacuses from Atlanta, so that we can play against the coach with the bean pies.
So this would be funny though. If we, I mean, like. Well, honestly, we can look at it now. Even if we do win, it'll be Georgia and Alabama in the SEC championship, I believe, because I don't think there's any other way that it can pan out.
Well, Tennessee has 2 losses.
Yeah.
And I think they're both. I believe they're both conference losses. I don't want to misquote, so I will definitely make sure to check that out. And here's what we're going to do right here. I'm just going to click right
They have
there.
2 losses. Yeah, they have 2 losses. They're 3-2 in the SEC. 3-2.
Yeah, they've got 2 conference losses. So at this point, we don't want to lose. We don't want to lose a game. We definitely do not at this point.
Yeah.
And we can't afford to give. We can't afford. We don't have any real ground to give. Although at this point, we hold the tiebreaker over Mizzou, and Tennessee. Tennessee would have ground, and Tennessee would have to.
They have them this week. Tennessee plays.
Essentially, what would have to happen is we would have to, God forbid, lose to Ole Miss this week and Tennessee the next week to be completely eliminated. But we're for both those wins and then also against the one against Georgia Tech. So we can wrap this thing up and go to the SEC championship. Having said that, we're going to take a quick commercial break, ladies and gentlemen, because I think ever since Colin said Nick Saban was eating bean pies, it threw me off my game. So we're going to take a commercial break, and we will be right back with the close of the show. You are 100% correct. Get yours today. ZagnevApparelDesign.com, where you can get cool stuff like this signature hat and other assorted signature emblem gear from Zagnev Apparel, just like you're already famous. All right, my friend. We've gone through everything. We kind of went off the rails in the last segment. We apologize to those of you that were watching that, but we kind of went off the rails in the last segment, but we're back. We're back. And this is the part of the show that we like to close with. And we like to call this segment, much like the final 120 seconds of every professional football game, the 2-minute. Oh, man. I was getting ready to mess up.
I was getting ready to mess up. I never heard of it.
What's going on? Nope, we're not doing that. See? Bean pie. All you had to do was say bean pie. Now it's been a comedy of errors ever since then. There's a 2-minute warning. You know what? My 2-minute warning today is make sure you get plenty of sleep and exercise and take care of yourself so you don't wind up losing your mind like me. That's it. That's all I got. I'm sitting over here. I've been running on adrenaline all day long, and now you said bean pie. I went off the rails. I had a laughing fit, and now my body's like, "Hey, it's dark outside." It's like, look, right now I'm like Mark. I'm like Mark Ruffalo in the Avengers. Sun's getting kind of low, big guy.
yeah. But, I was gonna piggyback on that one because it was funny because time change and everything. And like I said, B was here with me, and I knew what time it was. I had my alarm set on my phone and everything like that, but we ended up oversleeping, so like I had to take him to school this morning. It wasn't like we were late; we just missed the bus. So, and I don't know how the weather has been out in Oklahoma, but it's been like 29, 30 degrees in the morning, and turn around being maybe around 60, something. So that right there, in and of itself, will get you. Seems like either way, it'll get you sick. It seems like having people feeling not so well. So that would be my 2-minute warning: to take care of yourself and just bundle up, because Mother Nature is trying to play tricks, and and get you sleep and that kind of stuff. But
oh yeah, for sure. I will tell you this: when I woke up Sunday, thinking, God, I overslept, and then looked at the clock and went, "Oh, daylight savings time."
yeah,
Right on time.
Yep, and it did throw me for a loop last night though, because it got dark, and I looked. I didn't change my clocks in the house, but on my watch, and everything is digital, like all that updated by itself. But I had to go around and like change all the clocks and everything, and I got like even today at work. I didn't change the clock on my wall in the basement, and I was supposed to be on a conference call at a certain time. I was an hour early. I was like, "You were the only one on this call." I was like, "Oh man," I said, "I need to wait another hour." So.
Yeah. So that, hey, look, there's nothing wrong with getting plenty of rest and taking care of yourself, but see, exactly. See, this is where I'm going. Okay, y'all, listen, this is what we're gonna do. We appreciate you guys for tuning into this week's episode.
We're gonna get
this
off
week in UGA football. We're gonna go ahead and do this now before it really goes all off the rails. We appreciate you guys for tuning in. I am Mr. Fingers from the 405. My partner in crime over there, Colin P from the DMV. We will be back next week. And by the way, Colin is going to start dropping some of those short videos like I have been doing. So you can look to start seeing both of us popping up on the YouTube page on the weekend. Yes, sir, buddy. So you all have yourselves a wonderful, good Monday evening. Colin and I will be back together on the screen next week, hopefully with another W in the column, which would make number 27 if we get it. Make
27.
number 27 in a row and
46.
10 for the season. 10 for the season and 46
and 1.
excluding. Wait a minute, you said 46?
Yeah, it was 45-1, right? 45-1. We lost one game.
Oh, okay. You're going all the way back to. I got you.
All the way back. Yeah, all the way back. Yeah.
Wait a minute. How you get 45? Okay, I'm excluding the college football playoffs games and all that stuff too.
Right.
Conference championships, and so that's an extra three games. Okay, yep, that makes sense. I cannot math today. All right, y'all. It's time for us to go. We'll see y'all next week. Take care. Bye-bye. Go Dogs.
Go Dogs.